down 3 major government offices, disturbing sight found hovering above one. For almost 1 year, the left has claimed that the reason President Trump won the election was due to Russian hacking. Despite all of these erroneous claims, nothing has come from the pointless investigations, which never prove that Trump conspired with the Russians. Relations between the United States and Russia are incredibly strained after Vladimir Putin ordered President Trump to dramatically reduce the amount of staff he had working in Russia last July. In retaliation for that move, President Trump, in turn, ordered Russia to close 3 of its consulates last week, including its oldest one in San Francisco. Shortly after the order was given for the Russian consulate in San Francisco to close, people in the area noticed smoke billowing from the building. Immediately, the San Francisco Fire Department was dispatched to the scene, but they were promptly turned away by the Russians, who stated that they were burning items in the fireplace. One woman who watched the smoke pour from the Russian consulate building wondered if the Russians were burning top-secret documents. In a statement posted on Facebook, the Russian consulate said it had issued more than 16,000 tourist visas to American citizens last year and that the closure would hurt both countries. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said U.S. Special Services were going to search the consulate along with apartments used by Russian diplomats and their families. The U.S. State Department would not comment on whether this was true or on the smoke was seen from the consulate. After the Russians left the building, American authorities went inside to do a quick walkthrough of the area to make everything was in order. These inspections were carried out to secure and protect the facilities and to confirm the Russian government had vacated the premises, said a State Department official who did not want to be named. Breaking: Ivanka and family on lockdown after what was just found right outside their home. Shortly after making it public that the Trump administration would be rolling back the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program that Obama put in place, the world once again saw the true colors of illegals. To say that the crap hit the fan would be an understatement. Illegals all over the nation began to rally and rant and gather to protest in every possible way. What's not all right with us is when anyone engages in criminal activity, especially if they're protecting other criminal activity. True to form, that's what the DACA recipients or dreamers are doing. They're working their sob stories as hard as they can, attempting to keep their illegal activity from getting them deported. Ivanka and Jared Kushner, both of whom are advisors to the president, haven't even been able to leave their home without encountering some pretty angry protesters. That said, it's somewhat absurd to hold Americans responsible to keep housing those who were only here because their parents did something illegal. That would be like if you went to a restaurant and they graciously gave you a free meal when you were having a hard time and you went back every single meal expecting everything free just because you got it once. Someone in the United States illegally has the right to only one thing from us: a one-way bus ticket back home. They may have received more during their stay, and for that, they should be thrilled to have, not demand more. Share if you think illegals shouldn't be allowed to harass the Trumps. Barack suddenly showed up to say Trump can't be president anymore, tries to take over to save illegals. Barack Obama has parked himself in Washington, D.C., to keep a close eye on everything his successor does, waiting for the right opportunity to pounce and reclaim control. Obama has stepped on Trump's toes one too many times with his inability to relinquish his role as commander-in-chief. With every move that the president makes to reverse all that his predecessor put into place, Obama has become increasingly infuriated. Last week, Trump announced his plans and DACA as another step to resolve illegal immigration in the country, which Obama was a huge proponent of. Cat Stevens for Freedom Daily reported earlier today about the significance of ending the DACA program before it was found out what Obama was doing behind Trump's back. Barack Obama is coming out swinging at Donald Trump's decision to end his pro-immigration program, DACA, calling it cruel and condemning the White House for doing so, TMZ reported. What makes us American is our fidelity to a set of ideals, that all of us are created equal, Barack Obama wrote today. The Gateway pundit reports, AG Sessions slammed Obama during his news briefing Tuesday morning. At least 22 times Obama said he couldn't do executive amnesty himself. President of Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton said in a statement Tuesday that the Obama administration bypassed security background checks for DACA recipients, which of course puts Americans in danger. It's not Barack Obama's job as a failed former president to insert himself in program changes now. Congress is responsible for ensuring the welfare of American citizens. Obama is trying to block that from happening. Breaking: Obama just hijacked White House website and sent huge FU to Trump with change he made. Obama has now hijacked these presidents' public profiles, where he's inserted long-winded bullet statements about his wonderful accomplishments as America's 44th president. Affectionately calling him do-gooder-in-chief, President Obama has worked with Clinton to make buildings in our country more efficient, announcing a $4 billion investment in energy efficiency upgrades for commercial buildings. George H.W. Bush. President Barack Obama awarded George H.W. Bush the 2010 Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor, for his commitment to service and ability to inspire volunteerism throughout the country, encouraging citizens to be 1,000 points of light. The administration continues to promote service and civic engagement, honoring heroes of local communities as champions of change and fostering civic participation. Today, President Obama is calling for the same with the Buffett rule. Jimmy Carter. In 1977, President Jimmy Carter created the Department of Energy. Today the DOE works with the Obama administration to drive towards innovation in energy and reducing reliance on foreign oil with an all-of-the-above approach. Today the PEC continues to work towards reaching President Obama's goal of doubling the nation's exports by 2014's end. President Obama's historic health care reform law, the Affordable Care Act, strengthens Medicare, offers eligible seniors a range of preventive services with no cost sharing, and provides discounts on drugs when in the coverage gap known as the donut hole. John F. Kennedy. President John F. Kennedy famously suggested the American people ask what you can do for your country. In 1961, the Peace Corps was created, facilitating service among citizens working toward peace in developing countries. In 2011, President Obama celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Peace Corps with a presidential proclamation. Today the Obama administration continues to strive toward upholding the civil rights of its citizens, repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, allowing people of all sexual orientations to serve openly in our armed forces. President Obama became the first president to hold virtual gatherings and town halls using Twitter, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, etc. President Obama is committed to making sure that the VA, the second largest cabinet department, serves the needs of all veterans and provides a seamless transition from active duty to civilian life, and has directed his administration to modernize the way health care is delivered and benefits are administered for our nation's veterans. First Lady Michelle Obama and Dr. Jill Biden launched joining forces to mobilize all sectors of society to give our service members and their families the opportunities and support they have earned. Looting in TX comes to screeching halt after what cops give pissed-off victims permission to do. Don't mess with Texas. FBI reports, Katrina, 4 years later fraud, corruption cases continue. FEMA issued debit cards worth $2,000 in the weeks following Katrina. To date, more than 1,300 people have been indicted for Katrina-related crimes, including stealing government funds. FEMA issued debit cards worth $2,000 in the weeks following Katrina. In the devastating aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, the federal government began pouring billions of dollars into New Orleans and the Gulf Coast region to aid recovery efforts, and the criminal justice system braced for the fraud and corruption that would surely follow all that money. Today, 4 years after the storm struck on August 29, 2005, the FBI and our law enforcement partners continue to aggressively investigate and prosecute Katrina-related crimes. There have also been many cases of public corruption associated with Katrina, said David Welker, special agent in charge of our New Orleans office. Within days of the hurricane, the Department of Justice established the Hurricane Katrina Fraud Task Force, since renamed the National Center for Disaster Fraud, to deter, investigate, and prosecute disaster-related federal crimes. The task force comprised of federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies, as well as the United States Attorney's offices, is located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and it has not lacked for business. In New Orleans, Special Agent in Charge Welker said public corruption and government fraud cases increased 243% during 2006 to 2008 compared with the years before Katrina, 2003 to 2005. The New Orleans Violent Crime Task Force was established a year ago to target the baddest of the bad, those criminals who ride the revolving door of the criminal justice system. The task force consists of federal, state, and local law enforcement officers co-located at our New Orleans office and focuses on violent crimes including kidnapping, carjacking, armed robbery, and murder. Katrina had such an impact on the region, Welker explained,